that I want to bring to the front is General Feroz Khan, and he's going to talk to us about kidnappings and crime in South Africa. General Feroz Khan, thank you very much.
Good afternoon, colleagues, Program Director, representatives from the Civil Aviation Authority, representatives from AXA, business partners, General Motiba, and all the brigadiers and colonels and colleagues in the House. Very good afternoon. Thanks for this opportunity, for having being able to say a few words on kidnappings in South Africa. As mentioned, my name is Major General Feroz Khan. I'm from Crime Intelligence, the SAPS Crime Intelligence, and I'm heading the National Anti-Kidnapping Task Team, which was formulated a year ago. Okay, we'll go through an introduction, the background, and the MO. Investigations of kidnappings started because of the business against crime, communities and large businesses that were complaining to our president and the minister and to politicians about the high levels of kidnappings in South Africa and the non-detection or arrest of perpetrators involved in this crime. A lot of cases have been solved in the last year. The team that's responsible for the kidnapping, the anti-kidnapping investigations is a multidisciplinary task team comprising of crime intelligence, detectives. We used special operational units like the task force, we have forensics, and we have the cyber unit that assists us in these investigations. It's a very difficult crime to investigate because mostly these crimes we are reactive to the threat. I must mention that kidnapping has been flagged as one of the fastest growing crime trends in the Republic of South Africa, and people from all walks of life are being targeted. You may think that it's only prevalent in the high network individuals, but we also have people that live in the townships, people that live in informal settlements that are kidnapped and for very small amounts of ransom. A fine example is if you live in a township setup or an informal settlement and you got a promotion at your job and they give you a new company vehicle, you can be rest assured within a few days there's a knock on your door from gangsters or would-be potential kidnappers, and they will demand protection fees from you to prevent you from having your goods stolen or the vehicle taken or your children taken in exchange for ransom amounts. As I mentioned, we've had quite a huge success in the past year. We've arrested and dismantled quite a few of the international syndicates that were operating in South Africa. We've had significant seizures, and a particular case which spanned across Mozambique and South Africa, where the CEO of the largest telecommunications network in Mozambique, his son drove into South Africa for a wedding, and he was followed from the border post, and when he got here to the East Rand, he was pulled over and he was taken. An amount of $10 million was demanded for his release, and with the help of the different role players, and I must say the business community, we were able to rescue this young man without payment of any ransom for his release. So this has opened us up to look at the vast opportunities that exist for criminal-minded people who are wanting to make a quick buck. We've also found a trend where people who were historically involved in cash and transit robberies, armed robberies, house robberies, business robberies, have taken to kidnapping as an easier form of attaining bigger reward, bigger returns, because they snatch children from schools, and we know the school setup. There isn't very heavily armed police presence or security presence at schools for numerous reasons. So kids are taken from schools to and fro from on their way to schools or universities. And another trend we find, which is very prevalent right now, is that a hijacking is then turned into a kidnapping. People who would hijack you would then ask for your cell phone, and they get you to forcefully open your app. You go into your banking app, and they see the amount of money that you have available on your banking app. So then you're taken to an undisclosed place, extreme pressure is put onto you for you to do money transfers. So we've had 3 of those cases of recently, and we've managed to rescue those victims unharmed, and we managed to get the banking industry to reverse those transactions because we acted in a very, our response was very swift, and before those monies could be forwarded on to other accounts from the original account that it was transferred to, we managed to get those accounts frozen. So we've seen quite a few different trends so far. The following of victims from the airport, we've had quite a few of that, and then we have the notorious blue light gangs that have also been operating in that space. But there's definitely an area of concern from the airport where information is channeled to the syndicates that Mr. X, Y, or Z, or Mrs. X, Y, and Z has arrived on this certain flight, and it's normally the flights from Dubai, and they should be carrying high-value items. These people are taken against their will, held for many hours until those items are handed over, or it's specifically targeted for a particular commodity. And here we find a lot of the instances where people are involved either in the hawala or gold and diamond transactions, legal and illegally. So you open yourself up to a lot of scrutiny from these groups, and a lot of targeting is done. So they don't just pounce on you randomly. You are profiled, your network is established, and when they pick you up, they ask for a ransom in line with your net worth. So we've also found in the last year where people who are involved with big businesses, their homes are invaded, the owner of the house, sometimes, well, in most cases it's male, but sometimes we've had instances where, for example, the post office managers are females, manageresses, and their family, including their husbands, are held at gunpoint, and then they are kidnapped from their home, taken in the middle of the night to the post offices because tomorrow is the SASA payouts and the grants and that type of thing. So the families are held against their will, those safes are open, monies are taken, and we found this also with people in the chemical industries, where precursors for drugs are imported into the country, and the families are held at ransom, at gunpoint, and very hostile conditions at home. The person who has the keys to the warehouses is taken back to the factories or the warehouses. It's very organized. They have people who can operate forklifts, drivers with code 14 licenses, get in there, load up the shipments, whatever is required, and only when the cargo is safe are the families released and then allowed to get back to their normal businesses and their normal routines of life. So it is a worrying phenomenon. It's rearing its head in all provinces. We're finding quite a few cases now in the Eastern Cape, in the remote areas where it takes the police a long time to respond, and business people are kept for many hours until monies are paid. We've had deliberations with different communities from the Pakistanis, Bangladeshis, Chinese, Ethiopians, Somalians, Eastern Europeans, where this crime seems to be quite prevalent. Crimes linked to the national key points, as mentioned, we have human smuggling, the importation of illicit economy, the exports of illicit economy. We have sabotage, which is also finding its way into these national key points, and specifically at cargo facilities. There's no doubt there's a lot of collusion. There has to be an insider that gives information about a particular cargo that's arriving or that's leaving South Africa, and this information finds its way to criminal syndicates. And these syndicates come very, very heavily armed. They come in numbers. So at most instances, the security that's at these facilities are overpowered. They take over the facility for hours on end. Common items or commodities which are sought after are cell phones, electronic goods, laptops. These are stuff which is very high value, and we've traced a lot of this stuff either leaving South Africa or finding itself into the illegal businesses which operate in areas which are not known to be keeping such high value goods. The current state of affairs with regards to load shedding, this creates challenges because of our LPR systems which are disabled. Our camera systems at strategic points aren't able to operate, and we find that the crime trends and the hotspots are now being targeted when there is load shedding. So criminals have made themselves aware of the different load shedding schedules, and they seem to operate with impunity because of the big traffic jams, the major intersections which are taking commuters and response vehicles a long time to pass through. They actually exploit those situations for their benefit. Truck hijackings are quite prevalent. We have a lot of bogus police officers which are instrumental in performing this crime. We also have a lot of arrests in this regard. Last week, we arrested people who were involved in the truck hijackings. We recovered bogus police vehicles very close to the airport. And I must say, the criminal syndicates that target the airport and the surroundings are very close, within 10 to 12 kilometers from the airport. So they operate in those areas. Advice to you guys is, if your trucks are being pulled over, you could ask the driver to proceed with his hazards on to the nearest police station, get to a place where he can actually verify the credentials of the people who are instrumental in appearing as bogus cops or impersonators. Cross-border, we could talk for days about this. We know the porous conditions of our borders. Brigadier Scott has alluded to all the challenges that we do face there and the mitigating efforts that we're putting in place to address this. We do have challenges with our immigration and with SAPS itself. I heard the questions earlier on. You know, we can just aspire to improve ourselves and come around with a better service. And I think that if we all put our shoulders to the wheel, we can make a difference. The statistics are actually scary. We're not going to sort of candy coat that. We live in challenging times. And I think if we're expecting the state or other people to do something to protect our businesses, to protect our families and ourselves, then we need to relook at that. I think we need to start doing things for ourselves, for our company and our communities, and eventually that will lead to a better South Africa. So it's not all doom and gloom. We're hoping that we can turn this around. It's a new financial year, and the police is busy with a turnaround strategy, and we're trying by all means to improve our service and the level of training for members. And I think if we step back, it's the recruitment. We embarking on a different recruitment strategy, and we try to improve the level and the quality of people that are entering the police services with greater emphasis on vetting and selection criteria. So thank you very much.
Is it on? Yeah, there we go. Thank you very much, General. Just a question from my side. What is very interesting, just for our international guests, our traffic department and our police department are two different departments, not the same thing like in international countries. You spoke about when you're being pulled over by a police officer, or it could be a traffic cop, to go to the nearest police station and make sure that, and check these guys' credentials. It's been said before by ministers even, to drive to the nearest police station, but in the past we've seen that police has even shot at people like that, doing that. It seems like senior officers like yourself and the ministers has got this memo, but the guys on the ground didn't get it. Is there any plans from senior police to actually get that memo down to the ground so that something like that can actually be done?
Thank you. We have a very good system of communication in the SAPS, but if I'm a cop that wants to do something which is not in line with the law, if I have dodgy people with me, I'm not going to allow you to drive to the nearest police station because I need to rob you now. So any police officer who is following the law and is familiar with the national instructions which are issued on a daily basis, they would know that you are allowed to give the person the opportunity to reduce the speed to ensure this person is not evading justice, put on their hazards, and you can even pull next to the guy and say, listen, drive or follow me to the nearest police station. A police officer acting within the framework of the law and who has intentions of conducting a lawful action should not have that type of reservation, wanting to shoot at you and that type of thing. If you're escaping from a crime scene, then that's going to be a different matter altogether. You know, we're trying to effect an arrest, and Section 49 steps in where you're going to use force to try and stop this person. But if you are suspected of skipping a red traffic light, or your brake light is not working, or one of your headlamps is not working, there's no need for force to be used for something like that. And that includes SAPS or the different metro traffic departments that we have. Thanks.
Thank you, General. We're going to just take one more question. There was somebody in the back here.
Thank you very much, General. I just have a quick question. We employ quite a few, or we have many foreign service employees that come to South Africa. Are there any preventative educational kind of measures that we can educate them on to tell them what to do if they suspect a kidnapping is about to go down? If you can give us any tips or any pointers how they can prevent it if it happens, or if they're confronted with such a situation.
Okay, thank you. We do have a bulletin or a manual that gives you insight on what to do when you're kidnapped, or if you suspect that you're going to be kidnapped. If you could get my details, I'll be happy to share that information with you or anybody else that wants that information. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you, General Khan.
Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome take on the crime in South Africa and also the kidnappings. It's quite an interesting topic. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, excellent. 1, 2, 1, 2. Here we are. Please wait 1 more minute. No, don't run away. 1 more minute, okay? So, and I would like to ask the Brigadier Scott also please come on stage. We have one more item, and I need to give you a little bit of background. Unfortunately, you haven't been here in the morning. So, TAPA is an association which is already there for more than 25 years. We are working together with police forces all over Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And right now, we have more than 300 police officers using systems we offer for free, especially for police officers. We love what the police is doing because we can only win when we work together in a public-private partnership. You know, and we always say together we are strong. We fully understand that we can give you a lot, you cannot. You know, which is, we got it. You know, as I said, we work together with police forces all over Europe, Middle East, and Africa for more than 20 years. We have one thing where we always do and we are proud of. So it's a kind of a recognition on the great work what you are doing, okay? This award is an excellence award we gave in the last 20 years to 5 police forces. And I'm really happy on behalf of the TAPA Europe, Middle East and Africa Association to hand over the TAPA EMEA Excellence Awards 2023 to the South African Police Service. Over here. Over the cargo, guys. Maybe we can have, perfect, there's this, there it is, excellent.